Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and today I'm going to give you my March 2022 movie recommendations. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. You can also find me over Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Movie Guy 365. Okay, in this video, I will be giving you my March 2022 movie recommendations. If you don't follow the channel regularly, so once a month, I like to go over just the personal films that I watch when I'm not doing reviews for 4K discs, where I'm worrying about the technical aspects such as picture, audio. This is just for, my off time, pure enjoyment of the film, and something that I would like to pass along to you. Some of these you may know, some you may not. But I really encourage you also to put it in the comments section, what would you recommend to me to possibly watch and recommend again later in a future video. So let's not waste any time, let's dive right in. My first one is going to be based off a Netflix streaming option. And when it comes to streaming, there are some good movies that come out, and I really enjoy some of the latest offerings. And yes, even Netflix, I feel, stepped up their quality when it comes to films. Not all of them are great, but occasionally one will squeak through. For this one, I'm going to recommend The Adam Project, which just recently came out and stars Ryan Reynolds, Mark Ruffalo, Jennifer Garner, Zoe Saldana, Catherine Keener. Essentially, it's a, I don't know if I want to say coming of age, but sort of coming of age story involving time travel. Ryan Reynolds plays a future, version of himself, and goes back to 2022 because of things that are happening in his present. And it's directed by Sean Levy, so it has some good action moments. If you watch the recent film Free Guy, also starring Ryan Reynolds, you know what to expect. I like this one a lot. Of course, I don't really want to spoil anything about it, but I think it's really good. I wouldn't mind getting a physical copy of this one down the line. Maybe one day that'll happen, but who knows. And I think it has some good character moments, and it's also got a lot of heart. Ryan Reynolds is, of course, playing Ryan Reynolds, essentially, but I think you know what you're getting into if you're watching one of his films at this point. I liked it. I think it's fun, it's engaging, and it's really something that I would actually go back and watch again. So yeah, I would recommend The Adam Project, especially for those that are really into streaming. Check it out over on Netflix. This one recently came out on Blu Ray. Directed by Kenneth Branagh, and it's a semi-autobiographical take on his early life, and that is Belfast. I love this one. It's a simple movie. It's filmed primarily in black and white, and it chronicles Branagh's, as I said, semi-autobiographical life when he's a young kid, growing up just I don't want to say war-torn, but it's like very turbulent times within his country. A lot going on, and it's really just, it's not as straightforward, it's not like it skips like time jumps, but there's little minor time jumps, over the course of, I would say, maybe about a year or two, and it really has some great characters. The young actor who's essentially the center of the story, I think he does a really good job, and it's, I wouldn't say it's a feel-good movie, but it leaves you feeling good. It's so charming. It's really charming despite what's going on behind, the turmoil going on at the time. But I like this one. Kenneth Branagh, his recent films, of course, involving like Death in the Nile and Murder on the Orient Express are one thing. But this one, I feel it really just highlights him as a director. And he really does a really good job in this one. So I would recommend Belfast. Check that one out. It is available on Blu Ray. This one, lately, if you watched last month's video, and of course my shopping videos, I've been talking about, I've been on sort of a murder mystery kick lately. Really started with the Murder on the Orient Express, the original 70s version. And of course I wanted to fill in some gaps in my collection. And this one I've seen a couple times. I've never owned a copy, but Murder by Death. It's written by Neil Simon, or produced by Neil Simon, and this one is good. I mean, it really is it's a crazy, it comments on all those mystery novels, mostly focuses on that thing, but it really brings them to life in a weird way. And of course it has Maggie Smith, Alec Guinness, Peter Sellers. There's a great cast, a lot of faces you may not know as you know, somebody, you know, younger than myself, but it's so goofy. And there's several parts that I just laugh out loud every single time. I like this one a lot. It's crazy. It's also got the big reveal, which is just a funny commentary on those reveals. But Murder by Death, it's great. Check this one out, especially if you are even just a passing fan of murder mystery stuff and you like a good comedy. Recommend this one very highly. This one is latest from director Ridley Scott. Right around the same time he did The Last Duel, he also had another film come out, and it's House of Gucci. Standard Blu Ray only for this one. Look, as somebody, look at me. I'm not fashion conscious at all. I don't even know the first thing about Gucci or the history or anything. I know about what happened, roughly about with the member of the family. But for me, what attracted me to the story was A, it's Ridley Scott, and B, the cast. The cast is phenomenal in this. You've got a great, I mean, you have Adam Driver, Lady Gaga, you have Jeremy Irons, Al Pacino, I mean, Jared Leto, unrecognizable in this. And I really, it plays like, you could definitely say it kind of has sort of like, you could expect like Martin Scorsese to have directed this. It has that kind of feel of some of his films like Goodfellas or Casino. A little less violent than that, but the structure is very similar. Like I could really see Scorsese have directed this, but no, it was Ridley Scott. And it's a really well done movie. I think, you know, it moves at a good pace. I believe it's, you know, over 2 hours, but it doesn't feel like it. And of course, I am a big Adam Driver fan. It was wonderful seeing him in this role, and I like this one. Check it out. House of Gucci. Even, you know, even if you aren't a fan of like fashion, as I am not, Ridley Scott and the cast will sell this to you. I mean, really, check this one out. I recommend it. This one, when it comes to this movie, right around the same time, the first Despicable Me came out with Steve Carell. And when Megamind came out, roughly around the same time, of course, there was like a small battle at the box office, and ultimately Despicable Me won and went off to make 2 or 3 other sequels and 2 spin-offs, all progressively worse, in my opinion. But Megamind, this one, I feel is so underrated in the dictionary. You're going to have a picture of this. It is great. It's animated essentially at the basic level. It is like a what if like Lex Luthor had actually succeeded in killing Superman. That's really a broad stroke, but it's so much more than that. And of course you have Will Ferrell as Megamind, and there's a great cast, you know, Jonah Hill, Tina Fey. You know, this one is awesome. I loved the animation. I think the story is fantastic. And it's so just underrated. Not enough people know this movie, but you really should. I mean, when it comes to animation, it's not all kids' movies. You know, I think us moviegoers that are a little bit more in the know and more experienced know that animated features can be just as good as adult, you know, live action. I think Megamind really fits into that category. Especially if you're a comic book fan, even a modern superhero fan will appreciate this one. Loved it. And once again, I'm holding the 3D Blu Ray, but of course this comes in 2D, which I also have a copy of. But if you have a 3D capability, watch this in 3D. I think the 3D is fantastic. That's, you know, besides the point. But yeah, Megamind, yes. Do yourself a favor, watch this one. It is so good. It really is good. This one it's not so much as a recommendation as watch it. You know, it's a well-known movie. It's directed by Michael Mann, and it is one of my favorite films, period. Out of like maybe in my top 5, it's like sometimes it's number 1, sometimes it's number 2, but Michael Mann's Heat. You know, I know we're all waiting for a 4K edition of this one. Hopefully one day it'll show up, maybe this year, who knows. What can I say? This film is epic. It is a crime drama. It's set in my favorite city. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer. I mean, come on. This is a must-watch, in my opinion. as I said, it's hardly a recommendation because you should see this one. I know it can move at a little bit slower pace. I mean, it is almost 3 hours long, but this movie is so fantastic. And, you know, share in the comments if you love this one. Heat, beautifully shot, awesome. I love this film. Just watch it. Just watch it. This one, I enjoy it. It's not something I go back to very often, but we just caught, my wife and I just watched this the other night, and it was her first time seeing it. Sofia Coppola's The Virgin Suicides, as you can see, the Criterion edition of the film right here, but I believe it is on Hulu right now for those who want to stream it. This one is so good. It was based off a book, and Kristen Dunst stars as one of the daughters. 5 daughters that live in a, I would say, oppressive, religiously oppressive household. And it's really from the outside perspective of some boys that live across the street. And it just tells about, you know, a couple, you know, within a year or so of the narrative of what happens to all the daughters. And it's really just kind of like a heartbreaking tale, you know, and you can also easily see this happening in life, even today. You know, this is set, I believe, in the 70s. And it really just, it kind of speaks to just oppression within a household. And I think their performances are really good. Kristen Dunst, I think in one of her earlier roles, you know, it's kind of a tragic movie to watch, but it is so well done. And I think Sofia Coppola is like kind of early directing. I think this is her first feature. Really just showcases what she can do. And yeah, just watch this one. It's I'm not going to say it's a fun time, but it's something that, you know, it's really just, you should definitely see it and just kind of take it all in. So yeah, The Virgin Suicides. And finally, this month, I just reviewed the 4K edition over on my channel if you want to check it out. But I think it's just also worth talking about as a film. An American Werewolf in London. This is the Arrow Video Limited Edition on 4K. You know, John Landis, I feel, you know, of course, everybody knows him from Blues Brothers and other projects, but for me, this is my favorite Landis film. I think what separates this from other werewolf movies, in my opinion, is the writing. I think the dialogue is so witty. It has equal parts, you know, a little bit of humor, and of course, there's some horror aspects, especially in the back half of the film. And you know, when I get a lot of comparisons to The Howling, which I feel The Howling is a better quote-unquote werewolf film, but this one I think does a little bit less focusing on the werewolf part, or the lore behind the werewolf, and just like the werewolf is a thing. I really enjoy this one. Of course, you have Rick Baker's makeup work, which is fantastic, and it really holds up. It is a good-looking 4K disc. We're going to talk about that in the review, but I like this one so much, and it just reminds me of how, you know, clever it is. You know, it's also got some sexy moments in it. Yeah, American Werewolf in London. I would give you my highest recommendation on this one to check it out. It came out in early 80s, 1981, I believe. But like I said, it still holds up. It's really a good film. And check out other John Landis movies, too. I mean, he really... It's not that I don't feel like he gets a lot of recognition, but I really feel that he's slightly underrated, especially with today's audiences. So yeah, also check out Blues Brothers, fantastic. Chef Kiss, mwah, awesome. So yeah, American Werewolf in London, watch that one ASAP. So those are my March 2022 movie recommendations. Like I said, if you have something that you would like to recommend to me to focus on a future video, go ahead and leave that in the comments. But also, let me know if you've seen any of these, and if you're going to be checking out any of these titles for the first time, let's talk about it down below. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.